arms. So here we go. Ha, there we go. All right, from Tadasana. Keep your hands on your hips. You can bring your hands up to your chest if you're jumping, and just jump or step the feet a wide distance apart. Okay, now this is Utthita Hasta Padasana. Okay, it's a strong pose. I often call this the Renaissance man pose, right, from Michelangelo. But now bring your hands to your hips. Okay, don't do anything with your left foot. Keep it absolutely parallel, the outer edge to the edge of your sticky mat. Turn your right leg out from the root of the thigh. Keep your hands on your two hip blades, okay? Turn your right leg out from the root of the thigh. That means right here at the root of the thigh where the buttock bone meets the inside of the leg. Okay, now with your left hand, make a, I call it a fulcrum with your left hand. So my hand is going to wrap around the front of that hip blade, pelvic bone, and pull it back. Okay, now my top arm is going to pull up. This is your right arm. It's going to pull up, and I am trying like crazy to make both sides of my hips level. Okay, easier said than done. Okay, now exhale and go over into Utthita Trikonasana. Keep that back hand on your hip. Pull with your hand strongly, pull that hip back. Okay, now the under ribs, that'll be your right ribs. They have to come forward while these top ribs come down. So if you can see, do you see that little bit of pulsing that I'm doing? So I'm keeping my hand as a fulcrum for that back pelvic area, and I'm pulsing the bottom ribs forward, the top ribs back and down. Can you see? It's not a big movement. Pulsing, pulsing, pulsing. So I'm stacking the two pairs of ribs. And I keep that. Then I say, okay, can I take the hand off that hip without it going forward? And reach the arm up for Trikonasana. Stay and work in the pose. Keep turning the right thigh out from the root of the right thigh and pull that right quadricep up. Turn the head and look up. These ribs down, these ribs forward. Bottom ribs forward, top ribs down and back. Inhale and come up. Whew, how did that go? See your faces. So this idea of this fulcrum came from a workshop I was in recently with one of the most senior Iyengar teachers. And he showed it to us, you know, he came up very close and personal, and he had his hand here like that, and he grabbed it and he pulled that hip back. And when he came into the pose, he did not let this hip come forward. So that's your work, to keep pulling that hip back, and it makes those bottom ribs come forward. Okay, second time. Return your feet back to center. Both hands right there on your hip bones. Now keep your left leg, no, your right leg straight. Turn your left leg out from the root of the thigh. Okay, make your fulcrum on that back hip. Pull your fingers towards the front, wrap it around that hip, and pull that elbow back. Now reach your left arm up, and how level can you make your hips? It's hard. It's hard for me too. So make your hips absolutely level while turning that front leg out from the root of the thigh. Now keep that. Exhale. Keep pulling back on that back hip, and take your Trikonasana. Okay, little pulses. Pull the bottom ribs forward, the top ribs down and back. So you see, A little pulsing helps. It's not a big movement. Keep the front leg really strong, pulled up. That left buttock bone, in essence, is moving towards the right thigh, inner thigh. And if you think, okay, I've got those bottom ribs as far stacked underneath the top ribs as possible. These top ribs aren't coming up, they're staying down, stacking those ribs, then you take the arm up. And you can look up as you are able. Head back. Okay. All right, inhale and come up. So, you know, the lateral standing poses, for the most part, you know, the pelvis is supposed to stay fairly level. So it's very, very challenging in some other poses as we get along deeper in this. We are going, for the rest of this class, we are going to use Prasarita Padottanasana to both recover and to get further stretch in the outer hips. So now take your feet a wide distance apart. This is the Prasarita Padottanasana that I call the sumo wrestler move. So you could have a chair if you can't touch the floor, or you could have blocks in front of you. But I'm gonna bend the knees, bring my hands down, and I want, if I show you from this way, show you from the side. Let's see. This guy is moving on me. Let me go this way. If I show you from the side, remember this? So the front of the pelvis up, the tailbone in, the sacrum forward, and I come forward. Okay, now I bend the knees and I try as much as possible to get the hips and the knees about at the same level. And now do you see how my trunk goes down? Okay. Then I keep the trunk down and I straighten the legs. Yeah? Hopefully you could get that. Feel the spread of the back of the thighs while the hips still have this wrapping action around towards that front of the pelvis. Front of the thighs pull up. So that's the first Prasarita Padottanasana. All right, come up to concave. If you can, bring your hands to your hips and stand up. If you can't, you need to heel toe a few feet, a few inches in, and then stand up. Okay, take your legs out again. Do your pulling, tugging. Grab the bottom of your shorts. Pull the front of the pelvis up. The sacrum down, the tailbone forward. It's as if you had a lasso on your tailbone, and the tailbone is coming as if through. Okay, now keep your left foot absolutely parallel to the floor. Make a fulcrum for your left hip with your left hand. So I'm pulling and I'm keeping that fulcrum on that hip. Turn your right leg out from its root and level your pelvis. Lift that arm up, the right arm up, so it helps you, right? You can feel when that right arm comes up, how much that it helps you lift that side of the hip. Okay, now you're going 6 times. Just bring the hand back to your hips. And now you're going 6 times down for Vira 2. So each time, I call this my little, the Tin Man move, okay? You know how Dorothy in the Wizard of Oz She gave him a little squirt, he bent a little bit. She gave him more, he bent a little bit more. So each time you're doing it 6 times, eventually you're coming down to level. So I've done 2. So I'm trying to keep my hips facing forward. I'm really pulling on that back leg, back hip. 5 and 6. Turn the hips back towards the camera. So I'm kind of steering the hips forward. This groin, right groin, moves to the outer knee. Come down into your square. Then take your arms out to the side. Roll the shoulders, trapezium down the back. Shoulder blades deeper in. Now I haven't said too much about the back leg, but it does have to be, well, I've said a lot about the hip, but not the back thigh. Keep it strong. Yeah, come down into your square. Those of you, yeah. You're selling your hips short by not coming down into your square. What is the problem? What do you think the problem is? It's knee for Marcia. Do you know? So I can't solve all your problems today, but my point is yoga is the culture of the self. So you have to know what your issue is and what you need to work on yourself. Yeah. So Mike, I would say for you, it might be, and this could be for some other folks too. I'll show on this side. So inhale and come up. So if this is your pose, I won't use the wall first. If this is your pose, I would say the wall, back foot, and you keep pushing. This hand should stay here. Push, push into that back wall. Lift that arm up. So we're going to the second side. So if you want to use the wall on the second side, go right ahead. If you want to try it without, it's fine too. Second side, Virabhadrasana 2. Keep your right foot absolutely parallel to your sticky mat. Turn the left leg out from the root of the thigh. Make the fulcrum for your back hip and pull that hip back. Levelize your hips. So the left hip has to greatly lift up. I like the arm up. That helps you really lift. Yeah, and now 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Stay. Look straight ahead and then look beyond your left hand. Somebody is pulling you back with your right hand. Lift the bottom of the pubic plate up. That's better, Mike, and you didn't use the wall. Nice. So Chaya, can you bend more and not lose the lift on that left side? Yeah. Bend and go down, bend and go down. Tuck the tailbone. Okay, and now inhale and come up. So, these earlier poses, Utthita Trikonasana, Virabhadrasana 2, they are absolutely vital for the hips. All right, now watch how, let's see, I'm going to do it standing on the right leg. We're going to do, you'll have your left side along the wall, if I'm your mirror image now, for Ardha Chandrasana. So this is how I'd like for you to do it. So here I am, I'm pretty close into the wall. Can you guys see me? Yeah, pretty close. It would be your left shoulder at the wall. So I bend forward. I get my standing leg is going to be my leg that's on the outside. My up leg is going to be the leg that's at the wall. I'm mirroring you. I reach this outside leg out, and now I start to bring that leg up and turn into the wall. Now, do you remember how we stacked our rib cage? In, Utthita Trikonasana. So here, I'm still trying to keep these bottom ribs forward and these top ribs back and down. My idea was for you not to have the wall, so let me go a little forward so I don't have the back wall. So my top leg, toes are at the wall. This hand is here, and I turn the bottom ribs towards the wall. I move these top ribs away from the wall. Keep the toes touching the wall. Lengthen the trunk. Stack your ribs. Stack your hip bones. You don't even have to take the arm up, but you're turning your trunk to face the wall. The leg that's closest to the wall is the leg that is up. And turn the bottom ribs towards the wall. Let's see. Yeah, so yeah, Julie, you're doing it without the wall, but that's fine. You know, the wall gives you some information, right? You know the wall in front of you is flat, it's parallel. So yeah, you use what you have. Yeah, nice. Embed the muscles of the up leg, embed them to the bone. Okay, and now just come down, stand with your other side along the wall. I'm pretty close in here. I bend down. I walk the outside arm forward. I take the back leg up. My toes always touch the wall, and I turn those bottom ribs, take your top ribs back. And yes, the standing leg still has to turn out from the root of the thigh. It has to pull up like a Roman column. It has to stand up nice and firm and be firm in the hip socket. Toe tips just great, you know, can touch the wall. You can bend your toes even and push your toes into the wall. Lengthen that side body and try to stack your ribs. Make the two sides of your trunk as even as possible. Adjust your hand on the floor as needed, or brick on the floor. This pose is it's a lot like doing Utthita Trikonasana, but because of that perpendicular leg, it's a bit different. Okay. All right, inhale and come up. So I just threw that in there. Another Prasarita Padottanasana. Okay, your first Prasarita Padottanasana may have been, you were a little bit guarded. You weren't sure how wide you can go, okay? So take your shorts, pull up, pull down, front, back, and now start to come forward. We're not gonna do the sumo wrestler move. This version is arms forward. Keep your hips back, reach your arms forward. Press down on the whole outer foot bone and spread open the backs of your thighs. Immaterial as to whether the head reaches the floor, but don't let the hips drift. You have a good stretch on the front of the trunk, the arms and the shoulders. Okay. All right, come up to the concave, and then your choice on whether you can just stand up from there or not. Okay, now, you do need to find a wall. Let's see. I'm gonna go back a little bit. Have your feet about 4 or 5 inches away from the wall. So my buttocks are going down the wall a little bit. Okay, I'll do the opposite side. So I'm just gonna take, it'll be your right leg, and you're using the fulcrum of your hand. Let me show you. Let me go this way. Actually. This way. So my hand, this is helping roll the thigh out, and you can see, can you see how I've got the thumb on the, towards the top of the knee, and it's helping me roll that thigh out. Okay, then this hand comes underneath and then places the foot in the groin. Okay, so I want your hand to help you do three things. Extend groin to knee and get that knee down. Turn and pull the outer thigh back towards the buttock. I'm holding on for dear life. So the hand is helping you extend. You can actually hold here and you can push more, and then pull the outer thigh back into the hip side. Now, as you're there, can you come away from the wall? So your hip bones have to do the work, this wrapping work, while the extension of this groin goes down. So let your knee go down. You can just have one hand at the wall now. And roll that thigh out. Push with the outer foot. This outer foot that's on the opposite thigh. Push and bring that buttock forward, tailbone forward. Now I've just got both of my hands on the wall. And I'm working like crazy to bring that bent knee buttock forward, in more. So there's sort of a gripping with this head of the greater trochanter, helping our hips. Okay, and release. Sometimes it's better to stay and work, right? So I'm just gonna lean back on the wall. Then the fulcrum of the hand is gonna come inside, and I'm gonna roll, help that thigh roll out. Then this hand is gonna catch and place. Okay, lengthen, groin to knee, push that outer foot bone, and pull this outer thigh back into the hip side without the trunk turning towards that bent knee. Easier said than done. Vrikshasana. Little pulses where you're pulling this outer thigh. Let me see if I can show you from back side. I think I've showed this before. Little pulses where I'm pulling that thigh back towards the sacrum, towards the buttock and towards the sacrum. Medicine for the hip. Can you see? So I'm pulsing. Probably a little bit too fast. Keeping the two hip bones facing forward. Pulse, pulse, pulse. It's the gluteus medius. It's the biggest muscle, one of the biggest muscles we have. Maximus is bigger, but it's also can tend to be very lazy. Okay, here we go. We're going to skip Prasarita Padottanasana. We'll do the next one after this pose. So you'll take your Utthita Hasta. It's not Hasta, Utthita Padasana. Okay, and then you'll turn towards your right. Okay, now remember this. Doing it again. From the bottom of the pubic plate, I'm pulling my shorts on the front up, my shorts on the back down. And I turn my trunk. Okay, and then I come over into what might be known as Parsvottanasana, and I just get the opposite hand on the inside of that foot. Then this top arm, can it go to this outer hip? And you place it on the front of that outer hip and turn for Parivrtta Trikonasana. Now what's helpful is if you switch the hand to the outer foot and turn some more. So this back hand is helping you keep that hip lifted. And you turn from your waist. Turn the ribs, turn the chest, shoulders. Okay, and then come back into Parsvottanasana, and then stand up. How did that go? Second side. Hands on the hips. Turn towards your left. Hands front of the pelvis, back of the pelvis. Turn. Okay, and now start to go forward. Keep that back leg nice and strong. Come forward like Parsvottanasana. Hand on the inside of the foot. Start turning. Then it might be helpful for you to put the hand on the other side of the foot and turn some more. Parivrtta Trikonasana. Turn from the waist. I had you put that top hand, back hand on the hip. If you can manage that, do that. It's very helpful. Turn. And come back to Parsvottanasana and inhale, stand up. All right. I did not have my two screens. How did we do with that? Yeah. Thumbs up, thumbs down. All right. Have a chair, you might not need it. Oh, I was gonna, let's do one prasarita quickly. Sorry. So the last one we did was this one. Okay, so now can you walk your hands back to be in line with your feet and head down. Spread open the backs of the legs. Lift those sitting bones up, 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 and spread them. Press your hands down, lift your shoulders away from your head and neck. And then come back to the concave. Strong, strong legs, hands on your hips. Inhale and stand up. All right. We're going to try standing up Garudasana, eagle pose. It's a stretch for the outer hips. So let's see. You're taking your right leg up and over. Can you see? So I'm kind of taking a big arc and I'm catching the toes, and I'm wrapping the inside of your right ankle on the inside of the left thigh. Okay, now here's your option. If that's, you say there's no way, I can't do that. You can sit in the chair and try it. Just an option if you don't think you can do it. So here we go. Wrap. All right, so the top leg is pulling beyond the midline. Sit down into your hips a little bit. If your right leg is on top, the right arm goes on the bottom. Entwine the hands. Garudasana. Okay, steady, right in front of your hands. How are we doing? Yeah. That's fine, Mike. Do you feel the stretch in the outer hips when you take that leg over? Yeah, this is, you could look at it as a balance pose, of course, but it's really getting at that outer hip area. Okay, second side. Pick up and swing it over. Let that top leg go beyond the midline. So this outer hip has got a nice stretch. Bend into that bottom ankle. Left leg's on top, left arm goes on the bottom. Your hands, your thumbs go right at your forehead. Focus. Read about Garudasana in Light on Yoga. Why it's done. Bend in those hips, Laura. Bend and go down. Bend and go down. Yeah, use the wall, that's fine. Okay, now everybody gets to try it from a supine position. Let's make sure you can see me. So now we're doing it for even a bigger outer hip stretch, and we're doing it for the thoracic spine. If you can't see, can you see? Let's see. Should be able to see. Let me go a little bit further away. Okay, so I'll do the same side you are. So I hold on to the edges of the sticky mat and tuck my shoulder blades under, so my shoulder blades and trapezium are being drawn down towards my waist. Okay, then I bring the legs up. I cross the right leg over. If you want to help it, roll that thigh in and get the foot on the inside of your left shin or near your ankle. Then put the left foot on the floor. Take your arms out at shoulder level, tuck those shoulder blades. Inhale, and then on an exhalation, take both legs over to the left without allowing your right shoulder blade to come up. In fact, you can tuck a little bit more, lift up your left shoulder blade, tuck a little bit more, and turn the abdomen back towards the right side. So you feel a huge stretch in this outer hip area because you worked on those hips and those standing poses. So we're just giving it a nice stretch. Doesn't matter if your top knee doesn't touch the floor. You could use your left hand and bring it all the way to the floor, but not at the expense of the right arm, right shoulder. So this is the only way I really feel this stretch, is if I use this top hand, tuck the shoulders, and bring that knee as close to the floor as you can. Okay, inhale, come up. Just entwine your legs, rest both feet on the floor. Hold on to your sticky mat and tuck the shoulder blades once again. Tuck the sacrum flat. Bring both knees up. Take your left leg over. I'm going to help this tighter left thigh to roll in. Entwine and get the left foot on the inside of the right shin. Put the right foot down, arms out to the side, and then slowly take the legs over. Wait there and tuck those shoulder blades again. Then you can use your right hand and lengthen that right thigh towards the knee. I'm going to come up and look at you. How's this going? Yeah. Stretch your arms sideways. If you're not using the top arm on the opposite knee, stretch your arms sideways at shoulder height. Okay. So some of you were that bottom leg should be relaxed. It should be on the floor. All right. The foot, at least. Let the foot be on the floor. Did you feel the stretch in the outer hips? Yeah. Okay. All righty then. Now inhale and sit up. Sit in Upavishta Konasana. So from Dandasana, bring the legs out to the side. My muscles aren't as smart as I think they are. So I tell them with tactile help that the back of the thigh has to move back towards the hip socket. So I bring it back. The calf has to extend towards the heel. So I help it. Okay, sit up nice and straight and tall. Hands back behind your hips. Now right away, I know which buttock bone is light. So I have to work on the light buttock bone. I'm going to go back there and move that buttock flesh away. Hold that outer thigh in more firmly. And now I feel a little bit more even. Press the thighs down. Okay, Ardha Siddhasana. So you'll be bringing your right leg, same, using the fulcrum of your hand as a very, very useful prop. The fingers on the inside, the thumb on the top side, and you're rolling that thigh out, turning the shin now, and bringing the right thigh to its, right to the perineum, to its same side. Right side of the perineum? Yeah. Okay, so our subsequent poses will go a little bit better. Turn towards that bent knee. And actually, here's what I do. I push on the bent knee side. I lengthen. I'm helping to roll it and turn it and push it away. And I'm just grabbing this other toe. And this is going to make my Siddhasana better, because I'm lengthening this lower pelvic band here. And I'm turning this thigh out so the adductor is getting released. Okay, back to Upavishta. We'll do that on the other side, and then we'll complete the pose. Okay, make that fulcrum. Turn that thigh out. Try not to pick up this knee too terribly much. Try to keep the knee low. Go underneath the ankle, shin bone. Turn towards that bent knee. And then I'm going to reach and lengthen that knee away. Lengthen that thigh towards the knee. Yeah, it should feel good. Okay, back to Upavishta. Okay, then full pose. So your right leg's coming in and under. Now your left leg's coming in. And at first, you can just see where you are. But, you know, at first your feet are side by side, or the heel plates, the side edges of your heels are inside and outside edges of your heels are touching. You can just see where you are. If your knees are fairly close to the floor, you can pick up these toes, the front leg toes, and sneak them in between the calf and the thigh. So basically your heels are, you know, side by side. And then Jnana Mudra, the knowledge of joining the mind and the body. Sacrum forward. Roll the shoulders back. A teacher I was in class with recently gave a great analogy. She said something like, you know, you're going for a walk in your yoga practice. You wouldn't want to leave something behind. So here, you're obviously being, it's some physical effort is involved. So that means your breath too. So now you have your body involved, your breath involved. So now can you bring your mind to be involved in the pose as well? So you're taking a walk and you wouldn't want to leave one of those behind. Mind, body, breath, all connected. Okay. Release back to Upavishta. And then we have one more side. This pose, this Siddhasana pose, is taught very early on in the Iyengar sequence. I was reading about it last night. And it says, it's the other name for it is the auspicious pose, or the adept pose. So read about it, it's amazing. So then your left leg's coming in first. Turn that thigh out, reach under, get it towards its same innermost thigh. Other side, and just wait and see. If you can tuck, you tuck. I discovered this is really good for former ballerina feet, Kathy Beckman. Because it actually makes my, you know, my sometimes too flexible ankle work a little bit. It has to stay, you know, I can't let it bend. I have to keep it tucked up in there. So it's all about balance between strength and stability, mobility, all about balance. So Jnana Mudra again, look inside, take all three of your components of you with you on this journey. You can close your eyes. Feel yourself, be with yourself, love yourself. Hopefully you all got the email that Jonathan had Vicki send out for the quote last week. All right, and then release. Just take the legs right out in front. Have a block and a just have a block nearby. Go ahead, sit on the brick. Dandasana. I like the brick because it gives me lots of information. Okay, so let's see, I'll stay this way and I'll just do the same side you're doing. So for Trangamukha Ekapada Paschimottanasana, for the hips, with the hips in mind, you're bending up your right knee and you scoot over a little bit. So just the buttock bone's edge of that right buttock bone is on the blocks. Just so you let the right groin descend. In fact, here's how you're gonna use your hands. The hands are gonna point in toward each other like this. I should probably show you here, let me change. Hands are gonna point in like this, and I'm helping my groins descend, 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 descend. Oh, feels so good. So I'm descending the groins. Now I keep the groins descending, and can I just hold on to that foot, and can I just do the Urdhva Mukha part of this pose? So groins descending, that right outer hip has to stay down and back. You can have a strap if you can't reach your foot, of course. And strongly pull yourself up. So now I feel like I need to go back to show you this way. So I did this, groins descending. I hold on to that foot and I pull myself up. So watch, I'm not doing this, okay? So those front ribs have to stay back. And I pull the trunk up, shoulders down, look up. How are we doing? It's often one of the forgotten forward bends, but it helps us work on virasana, and it's a key pose for the groins. Okay, inhale and come up. Take that leg back to Dandasana. Sit up straight and tall, roll the shoulders back. Okay, and now your left leg bends under. Scoot a little bit over, so just the very, very inside edge of that left buttock bone catches the brick. Hands help roll those groins down. Catch, lift up. Shoulders down. Get taller in the pose. While the groins are descending, that outer left hip stays back and down, as it did at the very beginning of class in that Adho Mukha Virasana that we did. And it stayed back because you had a strap on it. Here there's no strap in it, but you've got a lot of height. So contrary to what you ever thought about some of these forward bends, this is not a hamstring stretch. It's a groin releasing pose. All right, back to Dandasana. Okay, now Marichyasana 1. You'll be bringing your right leg up, and I'm going to catch calf with my thumbs and draw that calf down as I bring that foot in very close to the brick. Sit up nice and tall. Okay, now use your right, hold on to your right leg with your right hand and use your left hand to descend that right groin. I've got my hands, guys, on my tights and I'm pulling that bent knee groin towards the floor. Okay, now I'm going to reach around. I probably could have said you could have another block here. If you can grab the same block, can you grab the outside edge, the edge that the bent knee is on? And now turn to the inside. Okay, now it's sacrum. You feel a nice, and this is great for lower back, people who have lower back pain. You feel a nice stretch across from above the sacrum to about, the waistband. Turn, turn, turn. Right groin descending. The foot that's bent should press firmly down into the floor and turn. You can even bend this elbow and get a little bit more purchase by pushing into that bent knee, and the bent knee answers by pushing back. Turn your trunk. Roll that back shoulder back. Okay, and then back to Dandasana. Okay, then I'm going to grab my other calf with my thumb and move that calf away and down. And bring that foot in close to the brick. Okay, now your right hand is going to grab your shorts. It's the opposite hand. I don't remember what side you're doing. I think we're on the same side. So if you've got your right leg bent, can't see. So you're pulling that bent knee groin down towards the floor. Okay, then the arm comes to the inside and that back arm goes to the brick. Turn, Marichasana 1. Push into that arm, knee into the arm into the knee. Look up. Roll that back shoulder back. And then back to center and release. Time is it? Ooh. Can we do a quick Marichasana 3? Your right leg up, I believe. You're still up on that brick. Okay, now watch. In fact, this is good because this is my stiffer side. So I didn't take the calf away. Move that calf away, bring that foot in. Okay, now I'm going to give myself a little help. And I'm going to come off my brick and inhale, reach up and get that arm outside the opposite knee. And then come have a sit back. So if this hand can just reach toward that other pelvis. Remember how we did that in Parivrtta Trikonasana? So let me show this side. So I reached up and I bent all the way forward. I'm off that brick. And then inhale, exhale, hook. Then find your brick carefully and turn. You guys are still on the first side. You have to press down on the inner edge of that bent knee foot. Turn the spine from the pubic plate. If I wanted to get very technical, and some of you are, more advanced Iyengar students, I will tell you, you are actually turning from the pubis. And exhale and hook, exhale and hook. So some of you, if it's difficult, you can always opt to just hold, Mike. You're not getting this hook. So you just say, okay, today it's not the day. So I'm just gonna clasp, wrap the arm, opposite arm, and turn. Descend that bent knee groin. It should go towards the block or the floor. Turn, turn, turn. Okay, we have to do the second side still. Some of you already moved on. Yeah, or yeah, you've already done it. Okay. That is Rochester 3. Okay. So if you haven't done your second side, please finish that up and have a strap and lay down with your, you just do a looped strap like this. Oh. What I would love for you to have is one brick at the wall, like that, and another brick for your sacrum. So here's what you'll do. 2 times. Got the strap across the front of my ankles. 2 times Chatuspadasana. And then on the 3rd time, we'll go up and I'll show you. So you're going to do 2 times like this. If you don't need the strap, so watch. So I'm showing you with the strap because it's easier. So I'm holding as close. I turn the upper arms out and I go up. You don't need the strap. If you can catch the ankles, put the feet down and come up. Push those elbows down, lift up. Okay, so you'll do that 3 times. Then on the 3rd try, no strap is necessary. You come close to the wall. You put your feet up higher than the brick. You know it's there. You lift up, you put this brick the wide sacrum way down. You find the brick with the feet. Say Jubanda Saronas. Any questions? Okay. 2 times Chatuspadasana, holding either your ankles or your strap. Pulling the hamstrings up to the buttock crease, hitting your thighs, your shins back. Keep reaching towards your brick. On the 3rd go, and you know what? You have to be closer to the wall than you think for the Setubandha Sarvangasana. No, Mike, here's what you do. Watch me again, Mike. Look how bent my knees are. So I tuck and roll, and I come up. Place. Okay, then I can just slide. Where? Press your heels. Those of you who are already in the Setubandha version, press your heels more than your toes to the wall. Thighs down. Hamstrings to buttocks. Tuck the shoulders and move your sternal notch up towards your face. Shoulder blades deeper into your back. Make your thighs strong, roll the front thighs in. Have that wrapping action on the outer hips, the head of the greater trochanter. Going over because we lost at least 5 minutes of time with that mishap of the sound. Can't see you, Doug, but I assume you're safe. Yeah, that looks good, Mike. Kathy, Laura, you okay? The option, if it's not comfortable, and this took me a while, you can keep your knees bent always, or you can have the feet higher, like up on a brick and a half, or a tall brick, or you can have the feet just higher up on the wall and just press into the wall. Okay, have a couple of longer, slower inhalations and exhalations there. Think of yourself, you're going for a walk and your companions are, well, you, of course, your physical body, your breath, and your mind, your consciousness. Yeah, that's it, Doug. Tuck the shoulders, any amount. Shoulder blades move towards the chest, or, towards your head side. Try to straighten the legs if you are doing the straight leg version. Roll the thighs in, lift where we had that strap on at the beginning of class. Have some memory awareness there that area has to lift. Back of the thigh where the buttock meets the back of the thigh. Okay, so to come down, bend your knees, put your feet on the floor, and then give yourself one last challenge. Lift yourself up off the brick. Heels down, lift up. And then remove the brick and lie flat. You can have a head blanket for Shavasana. Keep in mind that Shavasana is, quite it's an asana. It's Shavasana. It's the pose of the corpse. So what I want to encourage you to do is to not take it lightly, but to use it as, very specific steps in light on pranayama. Mr. Iyengar goes through this and gives us very specific steps, but he says we're placing our buttocks pretty much in the middle of the mat. We come onto our elbows, and then we move the buttocks forward away from our waist and head side towards our heels. Okay, then we lie down. All right. Have that head blanket if you need one. Then hold on to the edges of your sticky mat, tuck the shoulders some more, join your legs and feet, and then extend the legs evenly out. So here I'm still working. I'm kind of pushing on the mat. So the mat's forward. It's releasing my back body, towards the legs, towards the foot side, and my front body towards the head side. I don't know if you can see that. But it's basically what I asked you to do with your hands in the standing poses, right? So the front of the pelvis pulls up and the back of the pelvis goes down. And then you can move your arms out 45 degrees from the body, palms up. And you can let the legs go. Just let them go out, however they go. Have a couple of deeper, longer, smooth inhalations and exhalations. Now, if you can imagine, you're going on this really peaceful walk. And you want to take what you need. You've got your physical body, you don't want to leave it behind. It's an important vehicle. You want to take your breath, of course. The breath actually becomes more and more subtle the more relaxed you get. And then, you want to take your mind, but the part of the mind you want to take is the truest, innermost form of yourself, your deepest layer of consciousness. You don't want to take all the busy mind stuff, part of your mind where, the frontal lobe that does all the figuring out stuff. You want to let that recede towards the back of the brain. So Shavasana was never meant to be, this checking out idea. The space you found in your yoga poses, find it here as well. And don't check out completely, because then you lose the central purpose. It's not sleep. It's a level of consciousness that is definitely non-sleep. Follow your breath and just be present. Trying to get to uncover the stuff, the mind stuff, and get to that deepest part of yourself. Fold your hands in one at a time, slowly, carefully, mindfully. Bend the knees. Wait there a breath or two, and then roll to your right side. Stay on your right side with your head supported. Also, a couple of breaths. Okay, and then surrender your head before you come up.
have one last physical act of surrender. Surrendering the intelligence of the head towards the intelligence of the heart. And then sit up in whatever straight spine, open chest pose you could manage. Bring your hands to your heart. In gratitude for this practice, for the ability to be able to practice together, and gratitude for all the teachers who come before us. In gratitude of this community that is Austin Yoga Tree. Namaste.